Namaskar. I am going to talk about the basics of digitization, the standards and format used for digitization. In libraries, the modernization starts with the automation of libraries. The automation of libraries can be done with automation software, that is library management software, that can help a library to manage their collections. But once the collections are procured, the library is left with no choice but to manage the collections. In a modern library, you will see that the content is not just in physical form like book, serials, magazines, thesis, monograph, etc. In addition to that, library collections are also getting populated with digital content. Now, the biggest challenge for an institution is how to digitize the content which is available in the physical form. So in this complete module, the various challenges which is to be taken care when digitizing the collections, and the standards followed, and the formats required, and various measures and steps taken will be discussed. In addition, I have some interesting videos from universities, one from Indian university and another from a foreign university. So that video also will be shown to make you aware that how the digitization in a lower end as well as in a high end process is done. Now, let us start this topic of formats and standards of digitization with the common objective. One, the first and foremost is basic of digitization. Second, the technology which can help the libraries for the digitization, and the standards formats used. In addition, different media types. I have included some of the pictures which is taken from net and tried to give the credit also. These are generally from university, so I feel that that can be used. And the University of Tokyo video and the pictures which are taken for further explanation. The steps involved in the process of digitization is, if you have a physical collection, book or any other collections, serials, this has to be converted into a digital format. Once it is digitized, that can be indexed and stored in a database, and an interface, user interface can be created to search and retrieve this information. So first process, if you have a book with you, is that is to be converted as a digital file. For this, scanning is required. Scanning of the book means whatever is the content in the page will be photo printed into a file. There are various processes for this. The photo print can be an image. The photo can, in the modern development, it can be also an OCR based text, so that we can search inside the text. The scanning is the first process. Electronic scanners are used for this purpose. Scanners are available in various rates. I have listed a few scanners here. And the scanning is generally done to scan the photograph as an image or text document as an image or to an searchable OCR. OCR is optical character recognition. That means once a letter A is scanned, A will be treated as a letter in the computer, not as an image. That is what is OCR stands for. Then we have different manuscripts. So once it is scanning, all the image will be indexed. That means the images or the scanned document will be stored in an archive and linking with the database of the scanned images to text database that is searchable. This is what is called indexing. If I have a photograph, while searching I have to give the photograph name and who appears in the photograph, who has taken the photograph, like that. Lot of this data about book or thesis or serial or photograph is called metadata. So generally the indexing is based on the metadata of a scanned document. Now third point is that storing is. There are large size of file, digital image generally is taking lot of space. So storage is one of the component which is to be used in this whole process of digitization. We can have different kind of storage. That SAN storage is there, which can be plugged into a server, and as and when required more space, we can buy another one and again plug in. So scalability with storage is also a component to be planned at the time of digitization. And there are earlier, if you want to store a symbol, maybe 10 books, 20 books scanned, you can even use the CDs, optical discs, DVDs, or other storage server, as I mentioned. Now, digitization. One is that input, another is output option. So when we place a printed copy of a book or printed copy of any material, even a photograph or manuscript, this has to be scanned as an image, or if text, it is containing text, it can be scanned as text also. So scanned as image only. The problem with image, then we cannot have search facility for images. If somebody wants to search it, you have to have a little rich metadata associated with each object. But many of the digital library software allow to scan or to search inside the content itself. So OCR without retaining the page layout, that means whatever is page which look and feel, we want only text that will be tested, that will be scanned as a common data format, and it will be stored as a simple file. So you can open it as a simple file and see all the letters. So format is not very important in that case, because you are storing it as a text. That is OCR without retaining page layout. But if you want to maintain the page layout, that is also possible. That is the third. The fourth one is that you rekeying the data. This is what are the different options for input and the output creation from the digital. Now the technology of digitization. When we are scanning it, the scanned document should be of good quality. It is very important that we are going to preserve the digital content for a long period. So some of the specific criteria or specification when go for digitization is that we should also check for the bit depth or dynamic range, whatever it is that, for the scanned image, and the resolution of the image or scanned document. Then what is the threshold value of it? Then is there any possibility of enhancing image if you are scanning it as an image? Many times it happened that we have to scan formula, chemical formula, mathematical formula, algebra, etc. In that case, when it is scanned, if it is not an image, there is chance that many of the characters involved or many of in the equation and formula may get its distributed across the page, or that may not be placed in the right place. like a superscript, if it is placed in a different place, that gives a different meaning. So scanning has to be done very consciously, or if it is not done properly, the image enhancement technique has to be done. So focus is on quality when we are scanning it. The workflow shows that how to scan or what are the steps involved. The first step involved is we have to collect all the document in the physical format. So taking an inventory of the document or source material from the respective locations. It may be library, it may be a university, college, or wherever it. And we tag it because we are taking it from the existing collection. So we have to properly tag it when we are going for tagging, digitization. Because all these documents might have arranged in a proper shape according to the classification scheme used in library automation. So that tagging is the first step. It's a physical work, nothing done with the technology. Then we need to prepare a document regarding how the scanning is going to be. What are the resolution to be, or what are the threshold value to be set, bit depth ratio, all this. And once you prepare the documentation regarding all the collections, then the scanning process start. In a few minutes, I will be showing you how the scanning take place. And let us take an example. Suppose if you have a full text thesis, which is maybe 20 or 30 years old in the library, that will be a bind volume, beautifully bind with a cover page and a colored binding will be there with a title page, etc. Now removing this, for scanning many of the low-end scanners, it takes pages, page by page. In fact, book scanners are also there. But if you are removing the flap and the binding, then we have to take care of that. We have to again bind it properly without losing its shapes. So the first attention should be that whatever is scanned, if you are going to unbind it, it has to be done very carefully that no damage is occurring to the original document. Now once it is scanned, this can be, all the digital scanned document can be kept in a folder or in a storage media or in CD-ROM or in a wherever it is folder, then transfer to the respective locations. And then we put it to the digital library. For that, what is required? Every image you have to see for the image enhancement and image quality. If anything is required, again rescan it. Then after rescanning, only we should give the original content for rebinding. Otherwise, every time we have to take the collection and unbind it. Now, once everything is ready, if your digital image created from the scanning is perfectly okay, then metadata is to be created. The metadata capture following any of the standard scheme. In latest, we use Mark 21. CCF format is also there. So first we have to decide what are the fields required for us. In an example that we follow at least 32 fields for storing the digitized thesis in the National Repository. Then after metadata creation, we have to check for the quality. That quality check has to be done with the OCR. That quality check has to be done for the formula, images, etc. appearing in the scan document. Now at the end of it, this will give to the next level who will check for the quality. Then once quality is ready and the person who is in charge of the digitization quality check certify, this can go to digital archives. Once it is put into digital archives, now the scanned document which is already created will be going to temporary setup. This can be kept for some time as a backup, but generally once it is on digital library server, people may not be keeping any backup. So that is to be decided by institution. If you really want to, the raw scanned document is to be digitized. In a better quality check and standard, we suggest that you also have the raw scanned document as a backup later for use. And once it is ready, it is available for people. Now, technology for digitization. I have mentioned that the different parameter specification to be checked technically for the best digitization. One is bit depth or dynamic range. And here we need to technically look at that. When you are seeing a photograph on the screen or a text in a screen, you know that it is been created with some dots. These dots are called pixel. So each pixel determines the bit depth. Digital images can be captured at a varied density of bits pixel. Bitunnels can represent 1 bit per pixel. That means each pixel will be denoted by either a 0, that's 0 for black, 1 for white. Then if it is a color scan document, multiple bits are required per pixel. Typically 2 to 8 are used for primary color. Primary means the RGB, red, green and blue. So that bits are used for representing the color picture. And 3 primary colors, red, green, blue, which can be in basic scale, it may be denoted by 2 to 8 colors, or 12 bits also can be used per pixel for better quality. In that, 4 bits for be primary color, and that will give minimum pixel depth for a good quality image. And the color scanners which can scan at a 25-bit color now. That is 8 bit per primary color. That means 8 bits are used for green, blue and red. So that will give better quality on the display. So it all depends on what a user desired at the time of digitization for quality. If better bit colors are used, better will be the clarity of the picture. But obviously, the more you increase the size of the picture, scanned images, scanned document will also increase. So the compromise should not be done for just quality by increase in space. So it has to be on a balancing act that we decide the number of bits used. This is what is bit depth and dynamic range. Resolution, that is number of pixel in a given area, generally dot per inch. How many dots are there per inch? DPI in short it is called. So DPI is a standard for resolution. And in computer screen which you are seeing also have this dot per inch. So you will see that the resolution is expressed by length and breadth of the pixels. Some projects scan 600 DPI and 300 DPI is recommended for average quality. I should say that not the best quality, but average quality which is acceptable. So the best quality at 300 DPI preserves 99.9% of the information content of a page. So any scanner if you are using, minimum the standard should be 300 DPI, and you can go as good as 600 DPI as well. But depending upon the DPI rate you increase in the scanner, the cost will be more. After the resolution, the other component is threshold. Threshold setting in a bitonomal scanning defines the point on a scale usually ranging from 0 to 255. So normal threshold default is 128. But if you want to increase the value, that will determine the image quality. So there is no standard rule that it should be 128 or 255. Depending upon the quality of the image, we can set it anywhere. But the minimum, it is advised to keep 128 for threshold value. The image enhancement. This process can be used to improve scanned images at a cost of image authenticity and fidelity. Any image editing software can be used for this purpose. There are a lot of free open source software like Picasa gives editing. We need not to buy software like Picasa Album, which is generally associated with Google, or which has its own software editing tool. If an image brightness is less or contrast is not as per expectation, the software generally has the ability to auto-correct it. So many of the software you can auto-correct it, then get the better image after processing through the software once it is scanned. So even if the quality in the book is not good, but this image enhancement parameter can be used to improve the quality of the image, which sometimes will be better than the image appear on the paper. So that generally include filters, tonal reproduction, curves, cropping, color management, touch, image sharpening, contrast increase or decrease, or transparent background, etc. All this photo editing software comes with it. So this can be used as one of the important criteria while going for the digitization. Now, what are the check to be done for image quality? The image quality can be checked for orientation, readability, and the quality. The cropping, rotation, slight rotation. At the time of scanning, it may happen that when you scan a certain degree, the image will be rotated or turned in other side, either left or right. That orientation be corrected to make the straight effect for the document. If poor quality, then it is advised again rescan with this other settings. 128 if you are not getting, then change it to 255 and try and see that. So this is what is the exercise to be done before we start the digitization. And poor quality image should be informed to the institute with a tag. Like when you are doing, and if you are not at all successful when scanning, this should be told to the in charge of the scanning process or the library or whoever it is, so that they can take a note of that quality of this, and you can make a mark in the metadata itself that about the quality if all pictures are not getting good quality. But very rarely it happens. And remove the extraneous black borders. Whenever scanned, because of the side light, black border appear if you are not a professional person who scan it. And do skew and despeckle the images. Fix the orientation error in a page image where applicable. And image ground white leveling. And identify missing pages, duplicate pages, or page sequence once everything is put into the folder. So all this has to be done, because how this appears, suppose you are scanning a very big picture of A4, A3 size or bigger one, like generally it is appearing as a building plan, etc. And the numbering is not correct, the picture may appear differently once it is joining. So that is why missing and duplicate and page sequence, etc. is important when you are scanning it. So duplicate pages will be examined, and best quality image. 2 or 3 times also you can scan it if a document is very important. And the best scanned one can be taken with the different parameters. So if the document is very important, the same document, scan it with changing the parameter which mentioned earlier, resolution, threshold value, etc. Let us see the video now. This is a library scenario where lot of theses, PhD theses are kept for digitization. You can see that theses are bundled there. And thesis is in bound volume. First you have to unbind this, then take the loose pages and put it into the tray. So what they are doing is getting all the pages together from the thesis. The man is taking in a group and put into the scanner tray. Look at the speed the scanner is giving. The moment the scanning is done, it captures the image, and the right side you can see the screen. It's a very small scanner. He put it as we put papers in the printer, and one by one the page is scanned. It gives 60 pages per minute, the scanning. This is the document, original document. They have removed it like this taken, and the cover page is there, hard board is there, which is used as that first page. And after this it is put into that. Now they are putting all that. So this is taken from the university library of Guwahati University. And when I visited, part of Shodhganga ETD project. And they were able to complete this video within a short time. And this is the second. Now compare these two. That was the low-end video, which scanner, which cost 1 lakh. Here, the scanning is done, book is kept, automatically flipping is done, and the radio frequency signals are laser beams are there, which will decide which position the image is to be captured. So this video is from University of Tokyo, and intelligent scan. Look at the slowly when it places and which time it is to be scanned. That is decided by this intelligent software. And once it is scanned, the document is scanned and put in. Look at the scanned document. It may be in different shape, but the software will take care of putting it into the right shape. That is what. And here 250 pages per minute is possible. This is what is that book flipping. So these are two videos. So we have seen the video of scanning. Two different model. One is a low-end model, another is high-end. And the low-end model is used to almost scanning 3,000 theses in 3 months' time, and which is part of the national repository of thesis. And in Shodhganga, this is been uploaded. Now in high-end scanner, which I have shown the video, which is also used in some places for very high-end digitization work. So from this, once you get the digitized content, I'll take a case study. Let us say that we have taken this digitized, now how it is put. Now, generally this scanned document will be separate pages, or we can club the page and create one PDF file. And university, what they do generally, all the document they will create, or even if you outsource, they will merge all the document together and create one document and give it to you. In our national repository, we have a standard. We have a format for getting it. We have separate naming convention to do that. So what we do, we take a thesis full text, and you can see that the thesis is having 328 pages, one PDF file. This is the original full text search thesis, and our division will extract this, open entire PDF, and selects the extract menu for splitting the thesis. So this is done by Adobe Acrobat Professional. Now select the page range split. Here I have given 1 to 20 is my first chapter, or 1 to 1 is title, or 2 to 20 is my first chapter or index, etc. So I give the name and then split the thesis. And the first page I'll take it 1 to 1, that is title. So we have a naming convention. Here I want to mention that when you are naming the digital content, follow some naming convention. You will understand. If it is annual report, start with the 01 annual report, the year which is printed. If it is magazine, you see 01 first issue, volume number, whatever it is. So depending upon the nature of the digital content, you can follow a naming convention. For thesis, whatever is available, you can come and watch our Shodhganga website for as a case study, how we named the document. So we named it 01 title, 02 certificate, 03 declaration, 04 abstract, 05 content page, then abstract, like that we name. Then 0 maybe 6 chapter 1, 07 chapter 2. This is the naming convention we are following in Shodhganga. So that is how it is done here. So here they are again taking the next chapter, and once you split all that, look at this, it is organized. Why I give 01, 02? Because the scanned document can look like similar. You can sort it, so you will see that it is one by one it is appearing. So people will be very happy to read the content or digitized document in the real form which it is appearing in physical. Now for that you have to maintain. Software has one disadvantage. Sometimes software automatically sort the file according to the name. So if you are naming first file name with the Z letter, that will go as the last file. So title page title page start with the T. So T may appear either in the last or in the middle, not as the first page. So to resolve that, we have given 01, 02, 03. So that can be noticed or decided by you when you are splitting the thesis and give the naming convention. Now there are different compression protocols. Compression protocols are there. The standard protocol which uses image standards, which uses for image. Like JPEG is very common. PNG is an open standard. LZW is the Lepens. LIF G4 is there. These are the compression protocol used. Technically, a person doing it need not go into the detail of it, but select one of the format which is internationally acceptable. And OCR also, there are different types of the metrics and template matching, feature extraction, structural analysis, and neural networking. If you want to retrieve formula and characters from chemical formula, mathematical formula, algebra, etc., then you have to go for a separate kind of for precision. If it is simple text, you can even do a metrics and template matching. So these are some of the different types of matching. Then file format and media. When it is scanned, we can store it as simple ASCII text. Simple ASCII means ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. That is the simple text A, B, C, D, etc. When it is put into a notepad, that is what is ASCII text. Formatting is not possible when you are using ASCII. That bolding, italics, these are the format. So format, color application, all this cannot be done when it is in a simple ASCII text. Then you have unstructured text with a format. Then structured text. Structured means that the display of the content will be in a particular form. Like HTML, web page is an example of a structured document. SGML, XML, extensible markup language. HTML stands for hypertext markup language. All these are the structured text. Then the most accepted standard in digitization is page description language. PostScript and PDF comes in that page description. PostScript is generally used for printing purpose. PDF is used for digital documents. So old OCR PDF is the PDF which generally we recommend for text document when it is searching. When it is scanned, the first experiment, first text, but first test which is to be done is that take the document, put it in the reader, Adobe, if it is PDF, Adobe Reader, then search for some content in the document. If it is searching, that means the scanning is done as an OCR PDF. If it is not searching the content, even though it is contained text, that is an image PDF. So image PDF is not recommended for scanning for the text matter. Then page image format. We do have a lot of image format which I mentioned. Now once everything is done, this content can go into an institutional repository, IR. There are a lot of digital library software which deal with that. So I have taken an example of the latest screenshot of Shodhganga, where we have put all the theses, and the Shodhganga generally shows this is the metadata, once content is created, you need to create metadata. So in thesis, we have this metadata. We have a full 32 field metadata also, but the very important metadata is displayed here. Then from metadata, you can go to the digitize the content, which we have digitized and named it. And these are the starting from title page to the chapter and appendix at the end. So there are 15 digital content. Why we split the thesis into this format is we do not want the user to wait for long to download the entire. He can go to the first content page and read it, which may be kilobytes in size, which can easily when clicking download. But nowadays the bandwidth is also increasing. We need not think of splitting the content. Instead of that, we can give single content also. So it depends on what kind of hosting platform you are using with the network connectivity. So if you have a very high-end network connectivity in the backend, that is the bandwidth is very high. Many of the times NKN gives 1 Gbps backbone connection between the institute and the nearest NOC center. So that means the bandwidth restriction is not 100 Mbps, 150 Mbps is easily available for a terminal. In such a scenario, we need not split it. But many of the home users, and even iPad, etc., people are using it, they may not be able to. Mobile devices, iPad, etc., may not be able to download big files. So that is the reason it has been split in Shodhganga. And you can see that these are the scanned document, various language, Arabic, Gujarati, Hindi, and Malayalam. With that, I think I will close the discussion of digitization and format standards and format for used for digitization. One thing I want to highlight again here, any of the regional language, the text searching is not possible because many language use different font. That fonts are not commonly available. If it is followed in the Unicode, like Google, etc., gives the language now, then it is searchable. But the old document, when it is scanned, it is just scanned images as shown in the screen. So even we do have only scanned image. So searching in the regional content is not possible even after scanning. As on date, there will be technological development in future to take care of it. Till that, we have to put it as the scanned image. And I have once again concluding that physical media conversion to digital format and content was the topic of discussion. Optical scanners and digital cameras are used. The 4 steps were scanning, indexing, storage, and retrieval. And the quality of digital image and scanned document is to be ensured. That is very important, the quality of the digital document. And we have to use internationally accepted format and open standard. Like a PDF is an open standard. Like a doc and docx, etc., not open standard. It is proprietary standard. So we suggest to accept open standard like PDF. And if an institute is feeling that they cannot do the job, even below 1 rupee per page scanning is possible now, and the job can be outsourced to an experienced agency. And they will bring the hardware, do it at your premise, and disappear. So the money may be calculated per page depending upon the content. So happy digitization and also a happy digital life for all of you once the content is in digital. So that's all about the digitization. I wish you a very happy digitization process and a digital age in your life with the digital content. Thank you very much.